media or on the internet who also set out to cause harm and hurt the feelings and emotions of other people. Today, we're talking about cyberbullying. I know a lot of our creatives and celebrities have experienced this. I can mention Sally Gali, a point in time when some people or somebody on social media went making fun of her because she had no child. We've seen a number of them. Wendy Shea. I can mention a tall list of celebrities and other individuals. Today we have a story to share. Imagine contesting for a beauty pageant and then getting the opportunity to win that pageant. Later, you are called and told the crown is being taken away from you for reasons best known to the organizers. Imagine, after winning the contest, a photo of you gets on social media and people start writing disparaging comments about you. I mean, how you look in the photo. These things happen on the internet on a daily basis. And today, we have a victim here to share her story. She is a medical doctor, but she took part in this pageant in question. We have in the studio Dr. Chiaky Otuteye, who will be telling her story in a moment. We're also going to broaden the scope of the discussion. So we have someone from the Cybersecurity Authority, Director of Communications, and here is Benjamin Avornyotse. He's here with us. Nana Aba Anamoah is a media personality. She's also right here. She's not gone yet because this is a conversation she needs to be part of. And then we would have a psychologist on Zoom, Edwin Boachi Yadom. Uncle Ken is here, veteran broadcaster. And then we have Francis Doku, who is also the CEO of Maestro Group. He is also the West Africa rep for Africa Tourism Partners here on Showbiz A-Z on Joy 99.7 FM. Let me say welcome to everybody again. Hello, welcome once again to the show. Now, let's start with Chiaky. Chiaky, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Dr. Chiaky Otuteye.
Yes, please.
Okay, you're a medical doctor.
Yes, I am.
What do you specialize in?
I'm yet to specialize. I'm
Okay.
currently doing my housemanship.
All right. So you took part in the Miss Intercontinental pageant.
Miss Intercontinental Ghana, yes.
Ghana pageant. Tell us the story. How did you get in?
Okay. Thank you. So, first of all, hello everyone. It's really nice to be here. And hi, Nana Aba. I always feel so happy whenever I'm around here. I get distracted.
Yeah, we're all
and
happy
that. Yeah.
anytime we see her.
So it's a bit, well.
Yeah.
So first of all, besides being a medical doctor, I'm also a professional model and I also volunteer for a lot of causes.
Okay.
That's important to the story.
Great.
So I am an advocate as well. And I have a lot of passions and missions that I try to advance. So as a model, I was signed to an agency. I'm still signed to them.
Okay.
And I was there at a point, and then my manager told me about this pageant that she thought I would be a great fit for. So she told me about it. She said I was going to be registered for it at some point in time. So I decided to look through the name, what they stood for and all that. And I decided to apply to join. So I went through the application process, the online application process, and then I was told I had made it through. I was added to a group, and then they outlined the criteria and everything that I would have to do. So I decided, sure, I can do this, and went for it. So after some months, we started online, so we were given tasks to do. So you'd have a task every week,
Okay.
and then you'd submit it online, and then based on their criteria, would have the best task for the week. So this went on for a while, and then after that we were housed for a period of 3 weeks to prepare for the grand finale. So that also happened, and the prize was a car,
Okay.
Fully funded trip to represent Ghana in the International Miss Intercontinental pageant, and then free wardrobe allowance during the international pageant.
Okay.
And then they were also going to sponsor you with your project as well. And there was also to be a cash prize. So I went through on the grand finale. I was announced as the winner, and I was crowned Miss Intercontinental Ghana 2025 on 8th of November 2025. So
just this last November.
That was about 4 months ago.
4 months ago.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was crowned, and then I was placed in the car and driven back to the house where we were kept. So we did some thank you tours, and then I went home because I had to go back to work. I'd taken my leave to do that. So we did the thank you tours. I went back to work, and then I was given the forms to fill. But before that, one very interesting thing that happened was that the day after the pageant, I went to bed at about 3 a.m. So by 6 a.m. I was up, and I decided to scroll through my phone and see what was going on. And then I opened Twitter, and I saw that I had been tagged in some videos. So I figured, people must be congratulating me or something of the sort. So I checked what was happening, and that was not what I saw. The comments were very terrible, and for someone who had just won something that I had worked for, I kept staring at the comments. And I know Twitter. I've actually been on Twitter before. I'd had to delete my account because of something, and I decided to come back to Twitter, and I know Twitter. So initially it hurts, but then I was like, okay, it's just Twitter. People on Twitter are doing this. Then I opened TikTok, where I usually go to be happy, to watch funny videos. Once again, I saw my video. It was an interview that had been done immediately after I won.
Okay.
So by that time, I had cried, I had done vigorous performances and all that. The makeup had come out. And if you know anything about makeup, basically just applying things on your face.
Yeah.
So it looked weird. The lighting was terrible, and the angle and all that. So that video was taken by the official blogger for the pageant, and he uploaded it. That's Besagih. I don't know if I can ever get him out of my heart. I'm still praying about it, but that thing seemed very personal, and it's very hard to let that go, to be very honest. Maybe if he ever finds
you thought
out,
it was intentional for him to post that video?
For another reason, actually. So I felt it was intentional, and with the caption that was attached. So when he asked me
what did he write?
When he asked me how I felt about it, I mentioned that I joined the pageant because I wanted people to understand that beauty included brains, and both of them were not two polar opposites. He captioned it and said, she is very excited. She did not expect to win, and she's happy because beauty is about brains. So he twisted it to make it seem like I was saying I knew I wasn't beautiful, and yet I had won. And people in the comments piggybacked on that and called me a lot of very interesting names. I learned a new word that day, mukui. Apparently it's the slang for a very unattractive person. People said I looked like a fish. I looked like a lot of things. I looked like a frog. Someone in the comments was like, imagine all the beautiful ladies watching this mukui go away with their crown. And I felt, I don't know, I don't think I have the words to describe how I felt. It was terrible because these were strangers who did not know me from anywhere, and they highlighted some things about me. There are things that sometimes I had already felt insecure about, and I had taken years of work to get over some of these insecurities. And then in one night, after achieving something I'd worked so hard for, people brought all those insecurities back by highlighting them. Someone said my mouth was too wide, looked weird, and the way I even talk was some way. And then the people that felt they were doing the damage control also came. So some people were tagging me and saying that, oh, don't talk to her like that. She's a doctor. And, oh, she's very intelligent. And it sounded a lot like, oh, okay, mom, she's ugly. But because she's a doctor, let's just let the fact that she's ugly go. And people were in the comments like, oh, she's a very kind person. And it felt rather ironic because it seemed to me like they were saying, if it had been anyone else, maybe if it had happened to someone who was not a doctor or someone who was not kind or someone who was, what was the other thing they said? Someone who was not intelligent, then it would have been okay. And it didn't feel right to me. I remember thinking about it and asking the organizers who were now supposed to take over as my management. I spoke to them and they said, oh, as a beauty queen, it's normal. People will always talk about you in very different ways. And I asked, okay, but can we get them to take it down? And they said, oh, besa GHD on one or so they will try to get them to take it down. This video was up for months actually. I think it went down everywhere in January, but recently I even saw it resurface because other people took it and reposted.
They downloaded it.
So yes, so I've seen it resurface on my timeline on TikTok and on Twitter. I don't know if it's still up on Twitter. I haven't bothered to check because I don't want to re-traumatize myself because I did something quite terrible. I read every comment, every quote. I looked at everything that people said. And I've mentioned that I'm a medical doctor. I have a very good memory because I have to look at people and remember things. I've memorized textbooks. So everything that people said is still in my head. I still remember all those things. And sometimes it comes back at the most inconvenient time. So I say that people compliment me these days and I feel like they are mocking me because it's there. And when at some points when I started posting on Instagram again, people would come into my comments and be, Queen, you look so good, and I would be thinking, are you people forming a pity party? Is that what this is? I remember speaking to some of my friends about it, and I just kept thinking, is this pity? I don't know, because it's different. It's like my idea of reality is a bit distorted. People keep saying I'm strong because of the way I've handled it, but it's not that easy. And Miss Nana Aba would really attest. Sometimes I send her messages in the middle of the night because as I'm speaking, I'm talking very slowly and pacing myself because I don't want to break down again. Honestly, I think I've been emotional enough. But so after that happened, the organizers, we had to prepare for international. So I let that go. Then we had to prepare for the international pageant. I had everything on lock because I hadn't actually gone into the Ghanaian one. So I went in seeing the future. So I had already made those plans. All that was left was to present them and fill the forms. And then one evening it was about 4 p.m., a Friday evening, I was there and the vice president of the organization called me. And after the exchanging pleasantry, she said, Chiaky, we want to meet you and your parents. So kindly let them know it's an emergency meeting. And I asked, what's it about? And they said, oh, it's not a phone conversation. So I was a bit worried. And I called my mom because I didn't want to involve my dad. We like to involve daddies when it gets more serious. Yeah. So I called my mom initially, and then and for the record, I'm very glad I didn't involve daddy in the beginning because this could have escalated very quickly. People keep saying my mother is but my dad, you don't touch his beloved and get away with it. But anyway, so we went for that meeting. It was a Sunday evening. I closed from work and immediately rushed over for that meeting. And they emphasized that when I'm coming, I should bring my crown and my sash. That's when I got fully suspicious because they said it was an official meeting, so I should bring my crown and sash. And I initially was suspicious, but then I felt there must be something fishy. So I went with my mom. We sat, we introduced ourselves, and then because my mom did not know them, And then they gave me a printed email. So I read the email, and it referred to some calls that had been made in the past. I didn't know which calls those were. And they said they have received complaints.
Calls to who?
Calls between the management and the organizers, the international organizers. That's what the email was apparently from. And apparently the international organizers were saying that they have received some messages, emails from concerned people saying that I do not meet their standards for the international pageant. And based on this, they have made the decision to disqualify me. And I had not, as at that point in time, I had not officially submitted my registration to the international body. So I found that very weird, because if I haven't applied, where do you know me from? How do you know me to talk about not meeting standards? At least let me apply first, and then see my application and see that. So that was something I found suspicious. And then again, I asked them, okay, which standards do I not meet? So they gave me a document, a page from a document that mentioned poise, beauty, charm, intelligence, and body. And with all these things, they were very subjective. The only objective ones were they said you should be born a natural born female. I am a natural born female. You should also be fully a national of the country you're representing. I am fully Ghanaian. So the only other things, and then the body, they had body requirements, the height and physical. Yes, I also meet their standards. So the others were the subjective ones, which were mostly beauty, poise, and charm. And they made a statement. The president was joined by us on call via Zoom. So she made a statement. She said, some model dear, you can't be a model. When you pan a crowd to me, it's international phone say what you won't say will be crowd or your model. She made that statement, and she also said that when they went through my Instagram page, they were not impressed with what they saw. They didn't like the looks, and then also they didn't think I was doing a lot of work, which is why from the very beginning I mentioned my advocacy and all of that, because I do a lot of this work in Ghana and internationally. So I've done a lot of that. So I was very confused as to what was going on. So I asked them why they hadn't fought this, because they appointed me.
Exactly.
So it's even disrespectful. Anyway, they told me they were going to do that and all that. And I drafted an email for them. I actually drafted an email, tried to put two and two together and all that. And then some days later, we started exchanging emails. So our communication was now via emails and texts. And then the tone of their emails started getting very hostile. It looked like they were always looking for a way to throw me under the bus. And I kept escaping because it was work. So the tone kept getting hostile. And then at some point, they started ignoring me. So I mailed them to follow up on what was going on. They started ignoring me about that. And then I downloaded all the emails and sent them to them on WhatsApp. Okay. Also no response. The next thing I heard from them, he sent an email saying that unfortunately they have decided that they can no longer continue to work with me, and because that's supposed international said, and they don't want to lose their franchise to host the pageant, and they think other women should have the opportunity. So I should return the crown. They gave me 2 days to return the crown and the sash to a location and to the vice president. I saw that email. I did not respond. I just started looking for a lawyer because I felt this was unfair. So the crown is still
with you?
Yes.
And the sash?
Yes.
Okay.
But they've made a new one anyway. We'll get to that. So the next morning, I was once again scrolling through Instagram at about 10 a.m. and then I saw a message, official message saying press release. We would like to say that Miss Chiaky Otuteye has, Dr. Chiaky Otuteye, and Miss Chiaky has been dethroned as queen. We no longer associate with her because of unforeseen circumstances. And once again, in the comments were these bloggers laughing, mocking, trying to... People even posted on their stories very terrible stuff. And then there were also my supporters talking about how all of this was unfair and how they owed an explanation. And they started blocking all my supporters. So if you commented saying what you are doing to Chiaky is unfair, they would delete your comments and then they would block you. So they started complaining about it. So they decided to use the new repost feature and then post on their stories and all that. But a lot of my fans, people who supported me, have been blocked by the organization for speaking up. Then about 2 days later, I see a new press release that they had appointed a new queen and she would be representing them. All this while, there has been no communication with me. So I found out about this, their new queen, also on their social media, with people congratulating them and all that.
I have seen that press statement here. Clouds Entertainment, the official organization or organizers of the Miss Intercontinental Ghana, regrets to announce that Miss Chiaky Otuteye will not be representing Ghana at the Miss International pageant scheduled to take place from January 14 to 31st, 2025 in Egypt. Okay, so this was, and then they said that due to unforeseen circumstances, it is a result that we have made, okay, difficult decision to appoint a new queen. Okay, so they also announced that they had appointed a new queen, okay, as their rep for the international pageant. So this one was a statement released. It has no date though, but this was released. That's in connection with what you just said. All right. No reason. Unforeseen circumstances. So please continue.
So initially, I mean, people kept coming into my DMs to ask me, and the assumption was that I must have done something terrible because of the way it was put. But I decided not to say anything, mostly because I did not really know what I was supposed to say. And in a situation like that, one thing I've noticed is that in situations like that, whatever you say does not sound right. You can't really react because the public will tend to see everything. And I'd already been traumatized by the fact that right after I won, I granted an interview and that became sort of my own doing. So I did not say anything. I was being pressured, Chiaky, come out and speak.
Yeah.
But also there was this whole pain and confusion that I was experiencing. And I felt like maybe if I just pretended it hadn't happened, it would go away. I feel like I'm being a bit vulnerable now, but that's how I felt. I felt like maybe if I pretended that wasn't happening, it would go away, but it did not.
Do you suspect that that video that the blogger posted contributed to their decision to take the crown from you?
I genuinely believe that it's either contributed to their decision to take the crown, or maybe I will just end my statements there. Yeah.
You are a medical doctor. After going through all this, experience, have you contacted a psychologist?
Thank you very much for this question. So during this whole period, I have tried to contact a psychologist, but then the first one, I don't know if that person was, because it was a recommendation. The person told me to pray about it. So that was the advice I got. And yeah,
So you should pray about?
Yes.
About the bullying?
About my issues, yeah.
About the issues? Including how people bullied you on social media?
Yes.
Like a proper psychologist?
That's what I'm also doubting. But and the thing about being a doctor too is that you don't want to go for help in facilities where you're likely to be known, because we discuss patients, not for negative reasons, but if I'm seeing a patient, I'm a health officer, so if I'm seeing a patient and I have a difficulty, I escalate. My senior colleague would also escalate.
Okay.
And before you know it, there's escalation. So before you know it, people know your story, and you can't really control that. For a random patient, I will never meet that person again. But I didn't want the tag of I'm walking about and everybody knows that this is my issue. And because of that, it's even been difficult for me to open up and talk about this. If it had not been for Nana Aba, I don't think I would really have come out to speak. It's my mother who started talking about it.
Okay.
But for me, I don't like that tag. It's something unfortunate that has happened. And that thing, it's like now it's your whole, everybody just sees you as the ugly. Maybe they don't think I'm ugly, but it's confusing and very damning, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
Yes.
I will come back to you, but let's speak to a good psychologist.
Not a prayerful one.
Edwin Boache is a psychologist on Zoom now. Let's speak to him. Good afternoon. Hello, Edwin.
I hope you are doing well.
We're doing amazing. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
And I hope you've been following our discussion.
Yes, I have. And I am hoping whoever told you to pray about it is not a proper psychologist. I mean, probably not a psychologist, but of course, we are not here to discuss that person.
After listening to Chiaky speak and tell her story, what do you make of her situation at present?
So, let me say this. Today, I didn't even know I was going to be on this. Today, I live in my head, so sometimes ideas pop up, thoughts pop up. And one of the thoughts that popped up today was how audacious, how beautiful, how bold it is for young people to agree or decide to join pageants, especially beauty pageants, because you are all beautiful, you are all eloquent, you are all intelligent, and yet they are going to select a few, and oftentimes these are young adults who are still in the process of growing. As I was listening to our beautiful pageant winner, Doc, what came to mind was such an unfair world. And I believe people are able to do these because it's so easy to hide behind the crowd, especially online, where people are not seen, to say whatever they can say, whatever they think at the moment, and forget about it. Meanwhile, this can have a forever impact on the individual. Social media has come to stay with us. We now live our life more on the internet. And as we say, the internet doesn't forget. And so when people are bullied in one way or the other, in fact, apart from the online bullying, there have been a lot of unfair treatments on the side, which you're dealing with it since you made mention of a lawyer. I don't think I am a best fit candidate to talk more about that. But then the people online, in fact, it could be people in her space. It could be people out of her space. It could be people who have never, ever met her. People who have read the caption and not even taken time to find out what pageant it is to begin with. Anyone has an opinion on the internet, and they don't think about the effect on the individual. And as we said earlier on, even for celebrities, it's almost as if they have exposed themselves to the world. And so when they breathe, there are people who like the way they breathe, and there are people who don't like the way they sound when they breathe. Everything, people do have comments. But as I'm saying, the impact on the individual we are addressing, the impact on the individual we are talking about, let's even take it away from online and bring it to day-to-day conversation. Say you have 4 people having a discussion, and then it looks like the 3 of you are bashing one person, if you like. Check how that person would feel. the three who are lambasting that one person, even among you three, one of you at least knows that this is unfair to the person. And then multiply it, escalate it, and throw it out there on the internet. The internet doesn't forget. At any point in time, it can come up. As she was speaking, she made mention of the fact that she has probably worked out some insecurities from time past. Insecurities that she has done better at dealing with. All of a sudden, these insecurities pop up again. This time, not from her thinking, but from people's comments, people's assertions, people's opinions that may not be, that are actually not pleasant. So indeed, when people are ostracized, when people are, talked about negatively on the internet, it has an effect. The people who speak and think they are done, it goes way beyond just being done.
How does it affect these people?
Great. To begin with, you and I will be depressed if our issue is out there all the time and these issues are negative, even if they are true. So it can cause the victims to be depressed, to be anxious. It can affect their self-esteem. Some people may never recover from instances like this. Perpetually, they may find themselves feeling inadequate, feeling incomplete, if you like. And so it can affect people's self-worth. Now, when it affects someone's self-worth, it has a tendency to affect even their productivity, because now, whatever they are doing, they are second guessing, they are questioning themselves. So it affects their emotions negatively, causing depression, causing anxiety. In fact, it may cause people to start having suicidal ideations to end it all. Because for some people, they think if they are dead, then obviously these comments will not be coming. And so really it can have such effect to the point of causing people to feel suicidal.
So how does one deal with this situation after going through it? How does one solve the effect of this particular cyberbullying?
That's a very important question. So whether we like it or not, we live in a community where some of these things can happen. We are not saying they should happen. We are not saying it is fair. We are saying it can happen. I always give this analogy that when a snake bites you, you do not pause to question the snake as to why you have been bitten by the snake, why you don't deserve the biting and all of that. You need help. You need to keep the venom out of your system, even before you can think of revenge if you want to. So indeed, help is very, very, very important. So seeking professional help, of course, from the right sources is very important. Where I work, even though I attend to patients, if I happen to have an opportunity to work with a staff member, I don't downplay it at all. So seeking professional help is very, very important. Let me talk about another thing that's of professional help people overlook.
Okay.
Social support network. So in Ghana, like most African countries, we live in a communal environment, right? Our social support networks are very, very important. If you go to a professional, let's say we schedule a weekly meeting, I see you for about an hour, tops 2, and then you go. You are going to now put into practice what we have discussed. But your social support network, say your friends, your family, you are with them almost all the time, at least more time than you are with the professional. And that is why I am glad, Doc, you are able to reach out to Nana Aba. And of course, I'm sure this has been very, very helpful, probably even than getting that professional help. And that is because our social support networks help very, very well.
Great.
Very, very well. Even if I'm not able to tell you what to do, I am able to be by you throughout your pain and your sorrow moments. Sometimes that's even more than, sometimes that is all we need. So our social support networks are equally very, very important.
Thank you very much, Edwin Boakye, psychologist right there, for your inputs on the show. We appreciate your time and your inputs. Okay, so still here on Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A-Z, and we are looking at cyberbullying. We've listened to Chiaky's story, Dr. Chiaky Otutaye's story. Now let me come to Mr. Benjamin Avornyotse, okay, Director of Communications Cybersecurity Authority. Hi. How you doing, sir? Okay. So now let's get straight to the point. When we talk about cyberbullying, what does the law say it is?
First off, let me say sorry about what our sister, how to encounter online. And also to let her understand that most of the people behind those comments are nothing close to you. You're far better than them in everything. And if you care to follow up and look deep into who they are, you will be shocked about the individuals that are behind those things. So you should get that behind you and then move on. You are far better than these people. On the question of cyberbullying, you remember the current art review that's been ongoing? There was a call to make the issue on cyberbullying as part of the Cybersecurity Act. And, the backlash that came from social media in terms of the criminalizing of speech.
Yeah.
And how people express themselves. Why do you want to start prosecuting people when they say certain things? If you're not happy about it, you have a civil option to go to court. And because of that feedback, the authority and the ministry has been very, mindful in terms of wanting to include that, because the real concern is that we have repealed the criminal libel law in this country for some of these things. So you do not want to pass another law to try to put them in a law that, sometimes the institutions or the individuals that are in charge of this institution begin to have an overreach in terms of the implementation and application of these laws.
You don't trust governments with this.
I can understand the concern. So currently what we have is to take action in terms of the takedowns of these videos.
Okay.
For example, if you had called Cybersecurity Authority on this matter immediately, we have a way in engaging this platform, TikTok, Meta, X, and the rest of the platform to take these things down immediately. Okay. Even though they are also concerned about their community standards, to draw the fine line between what is allowed on their platform and all that. When it comes from the authority and we give reasons for the need to take them down. We get report. We have received a lot of, such reports from quite a number of people, including, a very popular ex-influencer who we invited to our office some time ago to raise question about a certain video he's posted out there that some individual had issues with in terms of how that video was causing some emotional distress.
Okay.
And we engage with them to take it down immediately. So sometimes if you are not available to even come to the office, if you call the 292 number, there's a 24-hour 292 number that the Cybersecurity Authority with the Computer Emergency Response Team to respond to some of this concern. 212 to some of this concern. Where the Cybersecurity Authority comes in terms of criminalization is when the content has to do with something that borders on intimacy.
Okay.
Right. If somebody have your video, or for some reason you are in a relationship with an individual and maybe the relationship has broken down, and then he's threatening you with, blackmail and all of that kind of thing. Those ones have been criminalized under the Cybersecurity Authority Act, and action will be taken. It is not even the individual who has taken the video, even you who had shared the video without necessarily being the originator. The act would take action against you. So that is where the issue is, in terms of, because some of these things that she's narrated are people sitting online and, excuse my language, talking nonsense, right? And this nonsense, in quote, you want to go to court and say this individual has said it. So you may not know at what point you say this is enough, we need to take certain action to say we're prosecuting you for writing this on social media. That is why the takedowns are very important. Then it takes the event away completely from the platform. Like this current.
But the act itself
is not.
The law does not capture that.
No. The law actually, when we're doing the review, we contemplated putting cyberbullying as part of the act. Then there were concerns that people are expressing their opinion on social media about certain things.
Criminalizing
speech and expression of opinion.
Okay.
And
this law.
and the backlash was quite huge. So then when we went back to look at the act again, in terms of seeking the views of our consultants, they also thought that at what point do you begin to say this person has and all of that. So currently, because of that feedback, that is not part of the.
So that goes more into civil.
Yes. I mean, if somebody.
You say currently.
Yeah, currently.
But the law has already been passed.
No.
You are talking about the amendment.
The review.
The review.
That's
the review one.
The review, that's
and
the current act does not have that.
It does not have that, but it has 67 of the act specifically prohibits distributing or causing the distribution of intimate images or videos without consent.
Yeah, he mentioned that. He mentioned
that's
that.
what's in this one.
Yes, that's
but not the ordinary stuff that people on social media, the oaths on social media go about.
That's difficult to.
Yes. So what we do is to make sure that we try to work with the platform owners, like Meta and the rest, to take some of these things down. If it gets to a point where we can establish that there's some emotional distress being caused to the individual that is involved. So we take it down. For example, this current Russian issue that's been ongoing. This individual does not only go about traveling in countries and taking videos of people and posting. He has a website that he runs that charges $5 to $6 to have access to that video. And one of the services he provides on that platform is to train people on how to lure women.
Okay.
And because of the outrage that has come for the Ghanaian community, that website is down. And his Telegram handle is down, his YouTube handle is down. So we work with this platform owners to be able to take, action on some of this. But I mean, my sister, what these people have written about you, you if you care to mind to ask the Cybersecurity Authority to dig some of this, but you go and see the kind of people they are.
Can I ask you to do that? I just want to talk.
You kind of see that these people are nothing close to you. I mean, they're just online. Some of them are, excuse my language, the kind of life they are living, and then they sit behind their phones to write some of this things. So get above these comments.
So you mean she can't have any legal redress?
Currently, in the act,
she can't. Civil.
Not in your act.
Not in our act. We cannot take.
Maybe we should find a lawyer and ask if there is a way.
Not currently as it stands. I'm sure that now that the conversation on these issues had come up, the act has not gone to Parliament yet.
Okay.
The review is still ongoing.
It's still ongoing.
I think we'll be having our next meeting from like Monday. So I'll bring it to the attention of the legal people to see how, at what point do we put some of these things to stop, so that because people need to be held responsible for some of these things.
But if you're a lawyer and you are listening, if there is any law outside of the Cybersecurity Act that can address Chiaky's situation, maybe you can be with us.
But Kwame,
yes,
Chiaky
boss.
went to court, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yes.
She went to court.
Yes.
Now, what was the outcome of the court?
Yeah, she will continue. Okay, you can continue now.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to bring in Uncle Francis, then we get back to her. So far, Uncle Francis, let me have your take on what you've heard so far, then we get back to her.
I think for starters, I think the position of what the act is at the moment.
Yeah.
I would agree with that because, again, as Benjamin mentioned, if you promulgate a law, you're not going to be the person or the authority that would implement it all the time. There could be, new people in authority who will implement it, and people might use that in a way that will be what you call witch hunting, if you like, in a certain way. So I think that position is right, but that's why there's always, when even the criminal libel law was repealed, there was always the conversation about the route through civil, means of getting redress when you feel that you've been harmed in a way. So I think that one I agree with. But coming back to the conversation, the internet, as we have all come to know it, breeds a lot of very horrible humans. It brings the worst out of people.
Yeah.
And it has happened, across the world. People have committed suicide because of some things that were said about them or to them, the bullying that people have received and all that. And if there's anybody who would serve as a social support or counsel for the doctor,
yeah,
I think she went to the right person.
Exactly.
Because Nana Aba has been on the streets, if you like, and being at the receiving end of some of these things for a very long time, and also has really, engaged people to let people understand that some of these things are not. So I think that support was very good for our dear friend, in helping to kind of stabilize, her emotional and sometimes I believe mental. And she's saying that she's only able to come out now and speak about it because of the kind of support that she got. And so we should commend Nana Aba for that. And it is also because of the kind of experience that she has had over the years, in battling, this thing. So point I'm making is that this is something that has been with us and perhaps will continue to be with us in terms of people, not minding what they say, the impact that it has on other people. But I think it's important that we continue to hold, conversations and education. Yesterday at the press conference, Man City's manager, Pep Guardiola, was asked about the issue of Vinicius Jr. and the Benfica player, And he gave a very profound response that, you see, race, and this is in regards to racism. Racism is not just about in football. It is in a lot of everything we do. So the most important thing is for teachers in schools. What it means is that schools should be able to be talking, about things like that. And I think that we need to put in some educational, means of letting people understand the impact that things that we say have. I mean, it will not totally eliminate it, because even when you educate, some people will still hold that view. But it's important in my view. I mean, for instance, when he mentioned the number 212, right?
Yeah, 212.
292.
292.
I had never heard that.
Me too.
Never.
I think that there's a responsibility on the part of the of authority.
Okay.
Not just the cybersecurity authority, but authority in terms of to continue to educate people on some of these things. The agency that is responsible for education, civic education, NCCE, for instance, could have a collaboration with the authority and other ISD and others to continue to educate that people need to understand, that you cannot say anything or type anything that comes to mind against another person, because it has impact on those people.
Great.
So on that level, I think we need to work on that. But my biggest issue would be with the organizers of the event. And I'll say this with the caution that we haven't heard from them, right? We have not heard from them, so we haven't they haven't been given a hearing to give their side of things in regards to this. What we have heard and what I'm going to talk or comment about is mainly
Based
what
on
Chiaky has said. And it's not to say that we doubt what she says, but I mean, we're media people, we know that you need to give fair hearing or the opportunity for people to also respond. But if whatever she said is what it is, then I think that the organizers haven't acted rightly, because regardless of all that has gone on social media, what people have said or may have said shouldn't be the reason why you make a decision like that. I think that it is wrong if that's what they did, and it is good that she has considered, going to court or have gone to court on that regard, because before you go into anything like that, I believe that you would have signed, some document, and that is what needs to guide.
Exactly.
So you can't.
Sorry, Francis.
Yeah,
I haven't spoken on this. So I only
I
posed
know.
the
I
question.
know.
I only posed.
Yeah. So when he's done, then I come to you.
I thought he was.
something?
No, he's just about landing. So
I'm not about just about landing.
So
He's
please
landed.
continue. What you
He's
have
still
done.
taxiing.
Taxi.
I'm still lifting off. So I think that it is so wrong if what we have heard is what has happened, which I don't doubt that, but because we haven't heard their side of things.
Yeah.
I
So
think it will be-
production is working on that.
Yeah, I think it would
To
be
get
good
in
if
touch with them and then we get
if
their
we
response
get their
too.
side also.
Sure.
But regardless of that, and we believe what Chiaky is saying, then unfortunately, it's a very, very unfortunate, thing, because you don't in the middle, or not even it's not even in the middle. At the end of the thing, change the rules, and say that because of so and so and so. I think that would be so bad. And so, the process of seeking the court's opinion on this, I think if she hasn't withdrawn it or she should follow it to
Okay.
the very end, because they have really, really, worried her, and I think that the organizers need to be held responsible for whatever emotional issue she has gone through.
Okay, thank you, Francis Doku. And again,
Yes.
Yes,
Francis
your
has
turn now.
actually said what I wanted to say. I wanted to hit hard at the organizers. Here's a lady who participated in a pageant and duly won, was awarded the sash and a car,
And a crown.
and a crown.
and she still has custody of all those.
Except the car.
Except
They
the
took
car.
the car.
They took the car.
Yeah.
Why did you give it back to them?
I did not have the option to give it back to them. We drove to the reality house. They gave me the car. We drove it to the
They gave
reality
it to
house.
you. Yes.
No, after they gave me the car for show, we drove it to the reality house.
Oh.
And that was it.
And that was it.
So the car remained.
It was
in
for the
reality
cameras.
house.
So they took the key.
Yes, the keys were with them.
Everything
And for
from
the for the crown and sash, the only reason I still have it is because my mother was brave enough to refuse to
Wow.
return it. Yes.
But you see, Kwame, but this is my problem. Like Francis said, I mean, we need to hear from the organizers.
Sure.
Why the sudden turnaround?
No, I'd really like to hear what they have to say.
Exactly.
Yes,
Honestly.
I mean, we need to hear. Why the sudden turnaround? And I am so appalled. She's just been diddled out of her crown.
Yeah.
Simply. That's what's happened by the organizers. And what even peeves me the most, I understand they've given her title to the fourth runner-up.
She's not the fourth runner-up.
What was her
She
position?
didn't make it into the top 5.
Oh,
So she did not
Jesus
place.
Christ.
It's not even in the
She's
round
not
up.
even. I mean, that's what got me.
Yeah, but you see, just to, if I could just
Yes,
point it out,
please.
it's also a bit of a deceit to public, right? Because
Exactly.
you held it in public
Yes.
And announced.
declared one person, then behind the scene you say that this is
Nah.
the person. I think that's also not.
Yeah.
That's a very worst part of this.
Did people vote for you?
Yes, a lot of people voted for me in their
Yes, of
numbers.
course. Otherwise,
So,
how did she
so
win?
the voters have been defrauded.
see-
Yes.
That's it.
How did she win?
They've been defrauded.
How did she win? And we need. Oh, please. I don't like getting too upset, but this has really upset me because it doesn't make sense one bit.
Well, let me get to Nana Aba Anamoah. You are the one that she ran to.
Yes.
So can I clarify that before we
Okay,
get back
do
to
that.
it? So I did not run to her. It's
Okay.
very important. No, it's important that we say this
Okay.
because it kind of turns the whole thing.
I reached out to her.
She
Reached out.
found out and reached out. And
I reached
she
out to-
made it because prior to her reaching out, I wasn't talking to anyone outside my close circle. But then when she reached out, the way she engaged with me, I found a safe space in her. So outside the people I've known all my life who have been very supportive, by the way, she was the very first external person.
Okay.
And for someone who wasn't trusting anybody at the time, the way she reached out
Wow.
made me comfortable enough to keep going back to her.
Nana, share with us, how did you do it? How did you accept her, listen to her story and all that?
Well, I found it very strange when Mimi and Danny, you know Mimi?
Yeah, no, Mimi.
Mimi and Danny sent me a voice note. But I don't like voice notes. And it's on my WhatsApp. That don't send me voice note because I won't listen. And Mimi sent a voice note of about 10 minutes. I didn't bother. Then she sent a message and said, Nana, listen to the voice note. I ignored her. Then she came back and said, Nana, I beg you, this is an emergency. I can't type it because you would come and scrutinize my brofo. So listen to the voice note. Then I listened to the voice note. And to borrow Uncle Ken's word, I was appalled as well. So immediately I asked Mimi, I called Mimi and asked her for Chiaky's number. I
Yeah.
didn't even know. I thought Mimi knew her, but Mimi saw the story on TikTok
Okay.
and was upset about it and thought, okay, let me talk to Nana Aba rather. So Mimi reached out and Mimi went digging around for her number. And I think it was a Sunday that I contacted you. Yeah, it was a
Oh,
Sunday
nice.
morning. So I called her, she didn't pick up. And then I sent her a message to introduce myself and then, of course, empathize with her and ask her to call me when she has time. Even at the time, I didn't know she was a medical doctor. It was when she called and then she said she was on duty. She was doing ward rounds. And so she called later. And then she explained the whole thing to me. I was so upset about it. And I wasn't even upset with the comments on social media because really and truly, like he said, those people,
Exactly.
I don't give them my time of day.
Thank
I
you.
really don't. And I told her that, ignore them. They don't matter. If they had jobs, if they were serious, if they had lives to live, they won't sit on social media to write such comments. I mean, I won't have time. Even when my friends post on social media, I don't even have time to go and read the entire caption or watch the entire video to comment because I'm too busy. So I told her to forget about those people. My angst was with the organizers. And it is not just what they did to her. It is what they have been posting on their statuses as well. So for instance, the person responsible for wardrobe at the organization post on her status when she decided to start talking to lawyers. And then when her mother started talking, she said, shaking my head, monkey no fine, but your mama like him.
Oh.
Cheers. Yes. And then she goes on to go and post a very ugly picture of somebody. No, it's from Kuma. Somebody on a farm, weeding and looking very bad. And then she says, I want to caption this, but they will screenshot and be giving false information. Then she adds laughter emojis. She goes on, your lawyers know the law, but our lawyer knows the judge. I'm saying this with my full chest and kindly take a shot of this as well. Since you people are jobless, let me give you something to do with your empty life. All the best till we are allowed to speak, but for now, cheers.
Whoa.
Yeah, and she's gone on about 10 posts, different posts.
It's a she.
It's a she.
Yeah, working with that organization.
A she. The president of the organization is a woman. The vice president is a woman. This wardrobe lady, of course, is a woman. And so when people sit down and they say women are their own enemies, sometimes I get angry when I hear it. But if you do this to a fellow woman, then really you are evil. And this girl, I'm surprised and I'm glad she hasn't broken down today because she cries easily every single time you speak to her. And she sends epistles, because she's pouring out. She can't talk about it. So she sends long, I read her messages and I don't know what to say.
Listen, even I will cry if this was done to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and they've traumatized
But
the
you never
girl.
cried before.
Oh, Francis
Not
hasn't
even
got
my-
tears.
not even when my father
His
died.
tear glands don't work. You have tear glands, Francis.
Nana, but what was the contest about? What was the motive of the contest? Was it a beauty contest?
I don't
Or
know, but the fact is
did it
that she
entail-
applied
And she took part.
and she took
And
part,
won.
and you crowned her on the stage.
Right.
How do you then come around and say that she doesn't meet beauty standards? Which beauty standards? Whose standards? I mean, I don't understand. If you felt she didn't meet the standards
Why
from the
did you crown
beginning,
her?
Exactly.
disqualify her.
Yeah.
Especially if you have the temerity to post what you said as we posted
Yeah.
on the stage.
Exactly.
Like,
Wow.
I mean, and she's really gone through, and she's still going through it. You know, she's a very strong girl. You know, she's a very strong girl.
I hope those people who were attacking her did not also attack her in bad grammar. Because that is the most hurtful.
Nana Aba would have taken them on.
That's the most hurtful, Nana Aba.
No, Francis, it's really bad. What they have done to this girl is so bad. It's so bad. Like, you can't find any other reason but to tell her that you don't meet beauty standards.
Whose standards?
Who standards? And you know, if this had happened to any person in any other country, I mean, in this era of diversity,
Exactly.
inclusion, woke, how do you tell somebody that they don't meet beauty standards?
And the judges haven't come
Well.
out to say anything? Whether judges...
So- judges-
We will come back to talk about the court issue and all that. Still here on Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z.
Yeah.
Chiaky has been telling her
terrible.
story of cyberbullying and some bad treatment when she auditioned for pageantry, Miss Intercontinental Ghana, which she won. Later, the crown was taken away from her due to unforeseen circumstances. All right, let's take a spin. When we come back, the show continues. Joy 99.7 FM, and we have some people sending in their comment. Obi Nate has sent in a comment, and he says this is a very sad situation. She has the courts to deal with the organizers. Her lawyers can draw many criminal elements. Okay, and then he says the element of defamation, misrepresentation, public deceit, fraud, scam, among others. This one is coming from Obi Nate. Let's get in here. Let me talk to you, Benjamin Madugu Avornyotse is communication director for the Cybersecurity Authority. How do we insulate ourselves against bullies on social media? How do we protect ourselves? Is there any precautionary measure or measures to take?
First of all, I think that what we are trying to do is to intensify awareness on how people should conduct themselves online, not only about the kind of comment people post, but also about what kind of link to click on online. Last year we did similar thing with the World Bank, which is the Safer Digital Ghana campaign, in terms of creating awareness about the situation that we're confronted with online, even including child online protection, because we're having situations where our kids are having access to, you know, our phones and gadgets, and they are going online and getting exposed to all kinds of things. We would ask that, I mean, since the law does not criminalize speech, and since the media people do not want that to be in the law.
Was it the media that objected to it?
Of course, you people were part of the.
No, I think
You were part of the advocacy.
I think media, civil society, you know.
Media was part of
I mean, the
advocacy.
citizens.
Yes, the citizens.
It was people actually.
being championed and led by the media, including, because if it were, this blogger would have posted that video, because he would have known that there are some, but I mean, even though I work for the authority, I don't think that we should get to a point. Otherwise, we may not be in charge, or we may not be there tomorrow. Yeah. So somebody else may take up that law and abuse, you know, its application. So I think that the awareness is very important, letting people know that when they write these things and they post them online, the kind of impact it has on other, individual or those who they are directing those comments are. I see a lot, with people with Nana Aba every time, So
But she also gives it to them when they come and misbehave. She would discipline them.
Now when you come at me, you best not know. So you know what usually they do? They don't
Yeah.
hurt me.
Okay.
Because when I see it, my response will not be the same.
Boot for boot.
further action.
my response will make you sad for the rest of the day, not for the rest of the month. Because I will respond in equal or worse measure. I'm not the Famanyame type. No, because I have blood running through my veins. So when you come at me, make sure that you are bang on. It's not something I would like to respond to. But if I respond, but like he said, and other things as well. I cannot say
all that.
Okay, Benjamin.
And also, I think that the media and those who have influence online should also support to, push for some of these things, to champion, some of this discussion on cyberbullying and how these things have impact on people to the extent that Doc's situation has gotten to this point. It is important that we all come together to tackle this thing head on. When people misconduct themselves online in a manner that could cause serious emotional distress to individuals, let's come together and condemn it. Let's not be pampering people and be looking for certain excuses in terms of you can say whatever you want to say, but be mindful that whoever you are directing those comments at, it will have certain, impact on them. So it is important that sometimes when these things come, we should call them out.
Okay.
I think that the best way to tackle this matter, since we cannot criminalize people for wanting to speak, when we all come, there are certain standards in society that we can all come to and say, this is not right.
But there are those people, most of those people who bully people on social media, they do that behind fake accounts.
Exactly.
A lot of them. Profile, two friends.
which are the cybersecurity authority, whether it's fake account or not, so we can track you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it is not. It is not
Wow.
a problem. Yeah, unless the gadgets that
When the person enters with the wrong details.
yes, the truth of the matter is that these people
that they have tracked certain people.
use.
They said they have done that.
Yeah.
These people use gadgets.
Okay.
And it's not every information.
Okay,
that
you can't disclose. That's
I can
good.
disclose
That's
on air.
good.
But then your locations, in terms of where you
All right.
are, you use a mobile phone
Wow.
number and all of that kind of thing. We've arrested a lot of people like that, but it's not all of that you have to be aware.
Don't say all. Don't say all. They are listening. No, they are listening.
They will be on.
They will change their like they will have a way.
They will
You
know.
get
They
it.
will know the ins and outs.
No,
He shouldn't.
The ones you
Next time
apprehend.
you avoid.
The ones you
cover up.
apprehend.
Yeah.
The ones you apprehend.
Yes.
And prosecute or whatever you do to them once they are apprehended. What has been the outcome of those situations?
Oh, okay, that's a different question.
First of all, when you
That's what we need to
yeah,
know.
but when you arrest people, it goes through a certain criminal process in
Right.
terms of prosecution, and there are a lot of people currently in court, including the Nigerians that we've been arresting these days. We've been working with the account because some of them are victims. Actually, they came to this country kidnapped. There was a situation that we carried out an arrest in Dodoa. These individuals were brought to this country 2 years. They've never gone beyond the estate they were living in, and they were kept in a room and they were browsing. And any time these international organizations like the Interpol and FBI trace these IP addresses, it comes to our country.
Okay.
Right? So we are working to send them back into their country. And those individuals who we consider to be the chairman or however they are described, who are behind these things, most of them are going to court trials.
I'm just looking at your actions being enough deterrence. to
Okay.
others.
Sure.
I agree.
That is my point.
That's a good point.
I agree.
That's a good point. Let's talk to Edwin Boache, the psychologist. Hello, Edwin. Are you on? Edwin.
You keep saying Yado.
Yeah,
Yeah, Boache run in here. Edwin.
He's living the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before we go, how do we insulate our emotions against bullies on social media? Some people are hard. You give to them, they will give to you. But not everybody is like that.
That is true.
These people.
That is true. So to begin with,
Why they always fighting?
Some people have had to even get social media managers so that they don't really go through all those messages and all to protect themselves, right? In fact, there are instances where people have. I've had this. Let me put it this way. I heard from someone that he wrote an article for publication. Now, the article he thought didn't do well because he was reading the comments. Apparently, the media house responsible for the article were impressed, and they reported that it is not necessarily the comments that they use for their markings, if you like. So really, the people's comments shouldn't contribute much, except that we have gotten to a place where the likes, the dislikes, the bad comments, we want to know, and sometimes they hurt. So as much as possible, if we can avoid all of these, it would help. Having said that, of course, if it is your post and people comment, you also have the right to read, and so it's okay. However, make sure you know the intention and motive of the people saying what they are saying. As you know, some people just say anything because they've come across it. There are people who call themselves comment readers. They go there to have fun. And so even those who are saying nasty things about us, they don't mean it, but they want to be funny. So as much as you can limit whatever you put there, knowing that this is what you are exposing yourself to. There are instances. In Doc's case, it's not like she selected a picture and posted it. Don't forget that those people posting their pictures there, they can take like 100 of them, check which one appeared the best, if you like. And so it's okay to post out there. It's okay to be on the internet. But responsible posting, it's important. That is one. And I'm talking in terms of in general. That is one.
Okay.
Also, it is important for you to know that you are not defined by people's opinion. You are not defined by people's opinion. Kwame, if I sit here and I say, you are not doing a very good work, and your employer says you are the best for him, who do you think matters most? Right? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we should be able to sieve and check the motive behind what others are putting across. And so if we have it within our space to post, we should know what we are posting and take responsibility. If not, as much as possible, we should not personalize other people's opinions so much.
All right. Thank you, Edwin, for your time. Some comments here. This one says, hi, Showbiz A-Z. Please tell the doctor lady to quickly, after the show, look for Sewami here, or better still, ask for Sewa's number from Nana Aba, because she is the best person to groom her for this bullying. Trust me, Sewa has seen it all and overcome as well. From Ernest's Scroll, Anita. Okay. Celia Akpene Daki says on Facebook, please, I was a victim too. I'm ready to testify. We need support. Please, we need justice for Doc and I. For all the queens, please. It's from some of the organizers. They wanted you use it as medium to disqualify the queen. they used a different strategy for me. Yes, please let our beautiful doctor know that she should learn to rubbish some of these comments because there are idiots out there from EM. And then another one here says, can't she take on the blogger who gave the wrong narrative and the beauty firm on legally? This sounds manually orchestrated to eliminate her. She's not beautiful but qualified and won. What kind of a Nancy story is this? Girl, you've got no idea how pretty you are. This is not to make you feel better, but truly you are very beautiful. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Sorry the bully got under your skin. I pray you heal from the things you don't talk about. Miss Amen. Hey, Nana Kwesi. Okay. All right. Anita, there's the last one, right? Okay. Let me come to you, Chiaky. Tell us the story about the court situation now. Okay.
We are in court. We've had about 2 or 3 hearings. So initially we attempted to settle out of court. That was the first thing we did.
Okay.
Because, well, we wanted to at least explore that option. But then we were invited to a settlement meeting and their terms were less than ideal because we wanted them to at least publicly apologize. We quoted an amount and then to reinstate and to give everything that they had promised me and all that.
Okay.
But then they refused that. So the matter ended up in court, and after 2 hearings, the judge has now asked that we reattempt to settle out of court and provide feedback. So the next hearing is on Tuesday. So if you are,
next week Tuesday.
yes, in 2 days.
Okay.
So if you are interested, feel free to come and support. I mean, because
Yeah.
one thing that has also helped me, it's people that's created that puts us in this situation in the first place. And at this point, I would also like to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who has supported me throughout this difficult phase. My family and friends, especially my mom, my sister, my best friend, my very close friends. I have a very interesting way of dealing with things, and I just want to thank them all.
Great.
My colleagues at work, they too, I mean, they're strangers of sorts, but then they voted, came for the finale, and when this issue came out, they were also angry. I have one nurse that actually made a video that went very viral to alert people.
Which
and then
hospital is this?
Lekma Hospital.
Okay.
Yes, Lekma Hospital Tishi. And also, I'd like to thank the random people on the internet once again. A lot of people have reached out to me. A lot of people have come into my DMs, to my comments to speak to me about this issue. And I'm so grateful to every one of you. Also, please let me do my thank you. Also to Women of Valor. Yes, because the first time I publicly cried about this was during, once again, Nana Aba's event. You know, every morning when I wake up, I want to send her thank you, but I feel like I'll be doing too much, so I try to I try to respect her boundaries. Yes. But the first time I publicly cried about this was during her program where she invited me and actually created space for, she was so insistent. They were having a panel discussion and she said, hi everybody, kindly pause this. I have someone who wants to share her story. And the women, you know, the whole concept of women being each other's enemies. Women are also each other's best friends.
Absolutely.
And the women who have rallied behind me, that support and love and encouragement, I'm so grateful to everybody who has supported me so far. The people who are ready to speak and all that. Really grateful. And I know because I've spoken a lot, you wouldn't ask me my last words. So let me just say that.
So these are your last words, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh no, don't cut me off.
3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we have 2 minutes.
Actually,
more.
2
The
minutes.
newspaper are already getting in to sack me. Uncle Francis, should I give you 10 seconds to do something, to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're not a one in the soup, you would probably not know. You can just say, "Oh, forget these people; they are not at your level," and all that. But I think that's also an encouragement to her, and I like that. At least she's now come on the radio to speak about it.
Thank you.
When the conversation started, The producer mentioned that this is something happening. The name wasn't mentioned, but I'm happy that she's come on and mentioned this. It's difficult, but I think there must be responsibility on the side of the organizers.
Okay.
To reinstate her.
Thank you, Uncle Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to read something that I saw
Is it long?
from Leila.
Is it long?
Jansi.
Is it long?
It just happened to come through yesterday. And she says, for the past 3 weeks, I truly enjoyed my social media page because I restricted it. So peaceful, meaningful, and quiet. Few people reached out, and I decided to open it up. Voila, the ridiculousness began again.
Okay, thank you.
So she wants to say that restrict your page to what you want. And she tells
Right.
people who are not welcome
All right.
to go on their own pages.
Thank you very much, Charlie. The news people say we should leave. Thank you very much, Nana Aba Anamoah, for coming. And to you, Uncle Ken, Dr. Chiaky Otuteye, Francis Doku, Mr. Benjamin Avornyotse, to you, Edwin Boache. It's been Showbiz A-Z on Joe 99.7 FM. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Show produced by Philip Nye, supported by Anita Tay. And the show brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go and Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. Thank you for listening.